Okay, thank you all. I am very happy to be with you today. And I am happy to hearing from you all, sisters and brothers. I am Dina Alshare from Jordan, actually. Currently, I am pursuing my master in structural design and learning technologies, and I'm excited to be with you today. So, my journey actually started from the bachelor degree in chemical engineering. For several years, I worked in technical and operational roles, but I recently made a significant career shift. Why the change? I did it because I discovered my passion lies at the intersection of engineering, education, and technology. I am fascinated by how we can use modern tools to make STEM subjects more engaging and accessible to all learners. So, this passion led me to the Instructional Design and Learning Technologies program at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, where I am developing skills to bridge these worlds actually. So, what is the instructional design and learning technology? It's about creating educational experience using the latest technology. It's about designing courses and tools that make learning engaging and effective for different types of learners. In our digital world, technology is not for just for entertainment. Your smartphones, tablets, and computers are powerful learning tools. So the IDLT in Structural Design and Learning Technology field explores how to harness these technologies to transform education. Now, think about how technology has changed education in your lifetime. We have moved from traditional classrooms with textbooks to environments with virtual reality, augmented reality, and interactive online platforms. So, technologies has given us access to education anywhere and anytime. Also, the technology has created new ways to communicate and collaborate, as you know, and enabled personal learning experience, which is very important for us. As David Warlick said, please the next slide. Thank you. We need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand because it is the pen and paper of our time and it is the lens through which we experience much of our world. I am very interested in the circuits actually. Okay. My career goals actually My career goals is looking ahead and I aim to integrate technology into engineering education to make technical subjects more accessible. And the second one is to contribute to lifelong learning in diverse communities. I believe we are just scratching the surface of what's possible when we combine thoughtful educational design with emerging technologies. And actually, I write here like key takeaways. You can follow them as you think about your own future. Maybe it will be useful for you, all you guys. The first one is to follow your passion, even if you lead in unexpected directions. And the second one is to embrace technologies as a tool for learning and creation in my point of view. Seek supportive and environments that encourage your growth. And remember that in today's world, learning never stops. And finally, we are growing up in an extraordinary time with unprecedented access to information and tools. The question is not whether you will use technology, it's how you will use, sorry, sorry, the main question is how you will use it to learn the technology. I mean, to learn, create, and make a positive impact to our community. The future belongs to those who can harness both technology skills and human creativity. I encourage you guys to be curious, adaptable, and thoughtful about how you integrate technology into your learning journey. So that's what I have today. And thank you for your listening and attention. And I will be happy to answer your questions as you want. And I put here like LinkedIn for my profile. If you click it, you can pass my profile if you want to ask me any question or I can help you in anything.
Okay, great. Very good. Thank you very much for that. So let's open the floor, inshallah, for questions. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask it, or you can raise your hand, inshallah.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Hashir.
Yeah. So, Sister Dina, you said you made a career shift and changed from what I believe is STEM to more integration of a technology into a STEM degree. I think STEM degrees are usually known as uh, degrees that are very concrete. You cannot really change fields in that sense. But how difficult was that shift for you yourself?
Actually, as I said, I have a bachelor degree in chemical engineering. And you know, the STEM is the science, technology, engineering, and math. So we are in the same field in some way. But the engineering, the chemical engineering basically depends on how you can work. You can work by your hand, I mean, in the manufacture, in the pharmacy, in anything like this. But I shifted to the education technology in the STEM. So I shifted to the education, not I shifted the STEMs mainly. So the shifting from engineering to the education technology. I mean that is my shift to from engineering to the education.
And has it been a huge shift, or do you think it's more aligned with what you wanted from the beginning?
Sorry, I didn't hear my your questions
So the
was.
question is do you think it was a totally new thing you discovered, or you had subconsciously that interest from the beginning, you just didn't realize it?
Actually, once I discovered the instructional design and learning technologies, in that time, I decided to shifting to the technology things, to the education technology in in the STEMs. So this is my point.
Okay. So using the tools helped you discover this domain.
Exactly, exactly. You know,
Okay.
everything now in AI, and you must learn the technologies in education, in engineering, in anything you in our life.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, and that was kind of, that's an answer to one of my questions is, because you mentioned to discover your passion. So one way of discovering your passion is to try different things. In this case, Sister Dina came across instructional tools and she was interested or intrigued by them. And that's kind of maybe the trigger to help her find her passion in that domain.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you for that.
All right,
Actually,
great. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Actually, the main idea also is my goal is to make and integrate between engineering and education technology, to use the technology tools to help us in education engineering. A chemical engineer, a chemical engineer, mechanical engineer, civil engineering, a lot of things.
Gotcha. Okay, that's great. That's a very exciting field. All
Yeah,
right.
thank
Did you have other questions, Hashir?
Yeah, I had a question, and then
Sure.
depending on, so you said you are currently in Indiana University in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, and you completed your bachelor's over here in the States.
No, actually, I completed my bachelor degree from Jordan University of Science and Technology back to Jordan.
Okay, so that is why I myself am also an international student here. So I just wanted to ask you in that aspect, how did how did you, because college can be overwhelming a lot, and then when you are away from home and you have these tasks, you really don't want to work as much. How do you think you've overcome those thoughts? For you, it would be much easier. I'm a bachelor student, but I just wanted advice more.
Sorry, because I didn't hear you well.
So is the question overcoming procrastination? Is that what you meant? Like not feeling
Exactly,
motivated to work and study? Okay. So
exactly.
for international students, Sister Dina, who might be away from family, homesick, or the culture is different, they might not be having their social networks around them, their friends and so forth. Sometimes we have the feelings of we don't want to, we're demotivated, we're procrastinating. So the question is, what advice would you have for students in general who come across those feelings to kind of get over it and keep pushing forward through their academic journey?
Yeah. In every life, in our life, in every step, you have a challenge. And as international students, the main challenge for us is the cost. So I am here with my family and with my husband, actually. Um, but I think the challenge can be expected because it's a life. They have a lot of complicated things, but I believe in my abilities, and I can pass anything, any challenges, I think.
All right, thank you for that feedback. So I guess the key point here is having a vision of what you're trying to accomplish. The purpose you're here as an international student is to achieve some education, get to a certain goal. So you always want to keep that ahead of you, and that would help you get over those challenges and just accept the fact that no matter where we are in life, whether it's here or some other country or back home, there's going to be challenges. The types might be different. Here, for an international student, it could be the things I mentioned plus cost. But for back home, it could be lack of access to books or faculty or technology, things like we've been hearing about. So I think that the general feedback here is we have to embrace these challenges and look at them as glasses half full rather than half empty. And just knowing that I'm going to get through it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, with His will help me through it.
Exactly. Thanks for you.
All right. Thank you
Jazakallah.
for the question and for the feedback, Sister Dina, as well. Sister Mariam, what questions did you have?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Sister Fatima?
Assalamualaikum. Jazakumullah khairan for the information. I was going to ask, what changes do you think we'll see in like the education system because of this new technology?
Mr. Dina, did you hear that question?
I heard it, but maybe I didn't get her idea. Thank you, Sister Fatima.
No problem.
So
I mean, like,
yeah.
what like changes, like negative, positive, like because of like the use of technology, like all over, like through schools. Like, what do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think shifting to the technology tools, a lot of positive things, you know. Um, Rarely I found a negative things. Maybe the accessible for the technology for some communities, it will be hard, I think. Um, but all of the other things are the positive things, not in negative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So definitely more people would have access to education because of the remote aspect and so forth. There is in many places across the world a digital divide. So, for example, in this country, we see some communities who don't have access to high-speed internet or internet at all, or devices that they can connect to the internet. So, it could cause a little bit of inequity and access to opportunities, jobs and things like that. But to your point, for the most part, there's a lot of benefit, inshallah, to use these instructional tools to help people learn in a variety of ways because human beings are diverse. We all have different ways of learning, and technology can help us personalize that learning a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's what I mean.
So you're welcome. All right. Brother Said, did you have questions?
Yes, Brother Ayman, I do. My question is like, your presentation is about integrating technology and education for a better tomorrow. So can you please tell me like what specific technology means, I mean, in knowledgeably? And can you tell me the categories of technology, like what specific categories you mean that you want to integrate with education for a better tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you for your question. The main technology in integrating between engineering and education is the AR and the VR, the virtual reality and augmented reality. So the virtual reality is help us in many ways in engineering sector and in STEM mainly. So you can make an let's say you can make a science experiment using the VR in the classroom without do anything, without spend any tools in the lab, let's say. So you can make an experiment using the VR without anything, without any challenges or any sorry about that, um,
Like
without any
resources?
resources. Yes, resources. In addition to that, you can make an experiment without any wrongs with the students. You know what I mean?
No harms, like safety issues and
Yes, yes,
right.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Especially with chemistry, I think that's your original field. So nothing will explode in their face, for example.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. I had a couple of questions. Anything else, Brother Said, you wanted to ask about?
No, it's just like I got one question and I already solved it. Like she solved this question. Thank you.
Okay. One question I had was, what made you fascinated by these tools? I mean, you kind of mentioned now a response, kind of you can avoid the unintended consequences of doing experiments and trials and things like that. But were there other things that fascinated you or caused you to be, caused you to be fascinated by these tools? Like what intrigued you when you saw these tools?
Mhm. Actually, if I get your idea, the main things, because we are in the technology world now, and I see we should use all the technology tools that help us in the classroom, let's say, and in our study and our life. So the main thing that I am fascinated in virtual reality, because it helps us in the classroom and it's make a lot of things accessible. Like once we learn about the volcano, let's say the volcano and the material in the volcano and how the process for the volcano, you can see everything by the virtual reality and you cannot just imagine what happened in the volcano. Another thing also, once we learning about the human body and the parts of our human body, and you can imagine that and you can see that by virtual reality. So because of that, I am very interested in the VR.
Okay, that's great. So the virtual reality aspect, yeah, I could see how that could be exciting. Okay,
I
and
cannot
then
hear you, Mr. Ayman.
I said that makes sense. The virtual reality aspect of these tools definitely makes things exciting. So it's like as if we're going to see a real volcano, or the examples you gave can bring things to us which we in practice can't really do. You know, it's hard for people to go see a volcano and get to the top of it. You know, when it's active and
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
You mentioned AR and VR, virtual reality, and AR is augmented reality.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
Yeah, they are different, the VR and AR, and you can make an integration between them, the VR and AR. But the main difference between them is the tool for each one. The tool for the VR is different than the tool for the AR.
Okay, I see. All right, and then my last question, what advice, you mentioned a lifelong learning journey for a middle schooler or someone who's in high school, how can they start thinking about a lifelong learning journey? Usually when we're students in school, we're just focused on our school subjects, our grades. I have a quiz next week, I have a final in a month, and that's really what they're thinking about when it comes to learning. Do you have any tips for people in high school that they could use in their life and start to get used to applying certain habits or something so they can develop this lifelong learning experience?
Yeah, actually, my advice here is the learning for you guys is to discover everything and to learn about everything, not because you have an exam before after like 2 days and you want to pass it and to have a grades for that. You should learn for yourself and for your future to improve yourself and your future and your career in the future. So, what we are learning today is not just for the exam or you want to pass the exam. You should make a time management and learning everything and let's say to build your future in many ways. That's my idea for the lifelong learning.
Great. Okay, guys. So basically, don't look at school learning and subjects and tests as just what it is, chemistry or English or biology, but more to learn skills. I remember we had a teacher in fourth grade that would teach us geography. And at the time, we learned world geography. So we used to study countries in Europe and Africa, Asia, and so forth. And she would have us every night write a small report on the country that we studied or the continent. And it was a lot of work, but its benefit was really not to teach us geography so much. I mean, we learned a lot about capitals and agriculture and things like that, but it taught us the skill of writing reports, of expressing ideas and summarizing thoughts and things like that. So, this is great advice is don't look at what you're studying as only the subjects, the dry subjects you're studying, but there's skills associated with it that come through the exercises, the drills, the tests, and things like that.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Well, before we close, did anyone else have anything to share? Sister Dina, anything else you would like to share with the group or questions you had for us?
Yeah, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and I'm happy to to be with you guys. And I made this presentation based on your request, and I'm happy to be with you. Also, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing this. This might be a good segue into our scholarship program. So I'll share a couple of things about it. But a big thing, obviously, we're a leadership development organization. We were set up in 2009 to help Muslim communities develop leadership capacity. But we also help a lot of non-Muslims, especially youth, who come through our doors. And one of the programs we started back in 2011 was the scholarship program. It started with Race to College, this one here. Basically, it is a race that youth do. They go and it's a 5K race, and whatever money comes from there goes to this fund. And we usually give young people, especially years 3 and 4 in the undergrad, because there's not a lot of support for those years, as well as post-grad students, master's or doctoral degree students. So that started in 2011. It was a group of young people. There's some pictures somewhere on the internet about it. And then over the years, we started 3 other funds in the names of 3 youth who used to be with us and returned back to the Lord. And it's a very simple process. If anyone here on this call is interested or have friends or others, just direct them to scholarships.islamicleadership.org. They fill out an application. It's one application for all 4. They can choose which one they are applying to. They have slightly different requirements. The Jude Johar focuses on life sciences, primarily
Brother
cancer
Imam,
oncology.
I'm sorry, I don't think we can see it in the screen
Oh,
during the
okay.
presentation.
Let me share again. Sometimes when you, all right. Is it up now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Yep. So I was just sharing here these different 4 programs: Jude Johar, Karim Morsi, Nur Bayumi, Race to College. And it's a unified application, one form that you fill out. If you go to any of these, you can apply here. You get a form and you just complete it. I think one of the questions asks you which scholarship it is. So anyway, it's a simple process. People complete the form and they attach the resume and transcript. And then they do this presentation. So the purpose of this presentation, one, is to educate other youth about different fields. Because as we learned from Sister Dina, she had interest at one point in chemical engineering, then she shifted to a different field. And that could happen. A lot of people change careers after 10, 15, 20 years of working in one career, not because they didn't like it. It's just how they progressed in life. But also sometimes young people in college change their major. Of course, we like for young people not to do that too much because it's wasting time and money. If you spend 2-3 years studying something and then year 3 you change, you've lost some credits. So it's always good to know a little bit what you want to do ahead of time. But if you don't, it's okay. You can experiment and figure that out as you go through life. So that's the process, very simple. And then we post these up. So also it gives the applicant an opportunity to, share their knowledge, their life experiences, and also help them prep some public speaking, opportunities. We did this one real quick. We were a little out of schedule here with this one. So we didn't get a good chance to advertise it that much. But inshallah, you'll see the video online in a couple of days, inshallah. So thank you again, Sister Dina, for sharing and for what you're studying, and may Allah
Thank
give you
you. Thank you
success.
so much. Jazakallah khairan. And I would be happy to make it again if this opportunity can be suitable for me.
Inshallah, I'm sure we'll definitely be in touch. Most, if not all, our scholarship applicants stay in touch with us, and they send us, things once in a while, and come back and talk as well. And so there's definitely collaboration. Ilya is really a platform for collaboration, and we want everyone, inshallah, to be empowered and benefit. So
Yeah,
thank
thank you.
you again, and
Jazakallah
thank
khairan.
you for the group here. This is one of our regular touch points with the youth. Sunday, we have more people because it's earlier in the day. We have a group overseas, so it's too late for them. That's why they didn't join tonight. But inshallah, we'll be in touch. All right, guys. Jazakumullah khair, everyone. If you have more questions about the program or anything else, feel free to reach out, and we can, inshallah, address those questions offline. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khairan.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.